I was, procuring playgrounds, I toured them, I vetted other, companies in terms of, product, and, they provide this service through Sourcewell and TIPS, other cooperative purchase contracts, but it definitely helps streamline, projects. It gives incentive to municipalities and entities to save that money. And local reps like myself just manage it and make sure everything goes smoothly. And then we're not paid basically until you're satisfied with that.
I think he mentioned that from the date we sign contract, they contact the manufacturer and they have 4 to 6 weeks to manufacture. And then he has probably a month for demolition, taking everything out and installing. So
correct. Yeah. And I always welcome, once we mobilize, I'll have a billboard, a little sign up there that says, have some ring rings, it's a park coming soon. That way it communicates to the citizens that there's something in progress. Because we always get someone walking up and like, oh man, we can't use the park today.
yeah.
But, all my install team, they communicate very effectively and, appropriately with citizens, but we'll try to get in and out as much as possible while doing the right job.
Okay. Now, I'm sure y'all have questions for Rob, so that's why he's here to explain it. Of course, we always wait to the last minute to talk about the most important part. What does it cost? The total cost, manufacturing, demolition, installation is $430,466.13.
That's correct. Yep. That's the two combined.
And we have available $565,000 plus the 51 left over from the. So if we do this, we would have like another basically $185,000 left over to do some other things.
The only questions I have is mainly what have the residents or, when we've taken this design around to other, to solicit community feedback, how has that been?
Really haven't done much of that, just more employees and things.
Yes, okay.
But some citizens like, what do you think about this? Oh, it looks good,
Yeah.
But to say we've gotten input from the citizens, that I haven't.
That's the only thing I would suggest that we would do before we, I'm all for revamping the park because trust me, playing on the existing one is not the best in the world because it's kind of falling apart. So definitely getting a new structure and set. But I would also like to make sure that we have a good community engagement to, kind of make sure that we're pointed in the right direction with design elements. But that's just my feedback.
Yeah,
I know probably, trust me, I've looked at playgrounds before for the last couple of years and you just sit there and go, you can't, this costs that, but it's seriously the cost.
Yeah.
So, Rob, is there any value of what we have out there? You're just gonna
To be really honest with you, there's not. My first, hangout with Mayor was to walk it. I'm a certified inspector, CPSI safety inspector too. And it's one of those deals I call it like I see it in terms of like when evaluating or inspecting, say for potential hazards, and we rank those, high priority, which is entanglement, is the highest. Falls, entrapment are the ones below that. Just looking at it and evaluating it, it's one of those deals, cost analysis of adding to it or bringing it up to speed more or less to safety. How far are you away from just a new structure? And what's the value of that new structure? Are you just basically mirroring what you have out there? Because playgrounds do come a long ways. We remember all playing on the metal stuff that had no safety surface underneath it, basically a slide or monkey bars. So the current value of it, I'd say I more label it just as from a safety factor. From the monetary value, because I get asked quite a bit, well, can we recycle it? Can we send it to someone else? And then my opinion, my professional opinion on it is just you're basically passing along the same issues, to someone else. So projects, schedule wise and just condition it in, it's in, more or less, that we would just, I recommend just taking it down. Just demoing it,
My initial contact with him was this is what we have, what can you add to and do all this? And
Uh-huh.
he said, you're gonna spend a lot of money just to get legal.
Yeah. So just, and then, materials are different now. I mean, they're definitely come a long way, per these ASTM and IPEMA certifications as far as what materials need to be improved so they do last longer. So that one, I would say.
Let me ask this from a funding mechanism, because
Sure.
I know obviously there's a bond,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And the carryover, but, not saying that we would do it, but grants that are along those lines. You're in the industry. You deal with multiple municipalities around. What kind of grants, what kind of other things out there that we haven't explored to try to go capture to either fund this or bundle things together?
So I'm not really the grant, so I provide entities with grant information.
Yeah.
So basically what you have here is what would be provided
What-
for
okay.
a grant. Yeah, I mean, installation, purposes and services, breakdowns of costs. The Arkansas Fund Grant is one of those, and I can't remember which grant was this one serving. This grant we're using on this one.
Oh, no, this is a bond
Oh,
issue.
bond.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
bond,
yeah.
yeah.
So there's
Bond issue specifically for this purpose.
Yeah, the one I primarily do or back into is that Arkansas Fund Grant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they use it for splash pads and playgrounds, just park improvements in general. I mean, it can be for bathrooms and sidewalks and such, but primarily it's used on the playgrounds. I do know, just on that behalf, those application process is becoming a little more thick in terms of being awarded those. I worked on probably at least 5 applications this past year with clients, and 3 out of 5 maybe got it. I feel that there needs to be an engineer on record now for those, which can eat into that grant cost. It also eats into that time as far as having an actual drawing, and then providing my information to those engineers to put that in. They're getting pretty detailed in terms of what needs to be provided and what's rewarded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough, thank you.
James, you have any questions or comments or? Sandra? No? Oh, questions? You got any questions or any comments or?
No,
Okay.
a lot of money.
But, it is a lot of money and we got the money. That's what we got it for, to do this.
Well, yeah, I really do appreciate the time. It's been a great process. I mean, even like I said, from day one, to today, and if we get to continue. I mean, it's just something that has been an honor. I love part of that job, doing the dream work of it, and look forward hopefully to the hard work of it.
I can't speak for the council. I sense from the council that, one, we got sticker shock. And we all do, and we will on the next project. But we have the money for it. It's a good project, but maybe we want the community to have more input in it. And I'm not opposed to that, obviously, but they're gonna say they like it or don't like it. I mean, it's got all the apparatus in it that you put in a park to climb, swing, play, so.
Yeah, if we act on this pretty quick, we'll have it ready for this year, is that correct?
Oh, yeah, we're talking about June,
Yeah, so basically the lead time for manufacturing is close to 4 to 6 weeks. And that's upon, basically, procurement process.
Yeah.
And then installation, like I said, for demo, for install, we're up about a month, plus minus weather days.
So 2 to 3 months after we execute the contract.
Correct.
Yeah. But we can vote on it tonight or we can not vote on it tonight. It's up to you guys. and ladies.
I don't know, I can tell you that you have, did you go to the one on Clayton Expressway?
Expressway,
Right over the bridge, Midland Bridge. I don't know if you built that one, but it's basically the same layout, basically. But, so my daughter lives in Alma and they drive over there to go to the park. And I've mentioned this to them and their friends and everybody was, yeah, it's great because they wouldn't have to drive over to Fort Smith to be able to go.
yeah, because we.
Oh, yeah, we need a park. We're gonna have two. I mean, you know, eventually, but I mean, people going to Mulberry, that's where they go to the park. They don't go to-
I don't see any other questions
Well, I
that
mean-
arise out of this thing.
Yeah, I agree with you, but others may want to have more information, but I don't know what other information to get, I guess is what
The figures are big, but outside of that.
Oh, it is, yeah.
But, I don't know why we would put it off.
What, dear?
I said, I think we should do it.
Make that motion.
I don't
Make a motion.
The only thing is, before we make motions, is the only thing going forward is that most parks and everything, there is a parks committee, and I think that we need to start enabling that group more, or at least having some input.
To my knowledge, we don't have a parks committee.
It was formed underneath the previous mayor and carried forward because, over the parks itself, it kind of carries forward. So, but there was a kind of a parks committee that's set up.
Is it an official parks committee?
It was kind of led by Jim Warner, as far as that
But
goes. But
Rhonda, are you aware we ever had a parks committee, an official
Not
park?
a formal one.
I
more
didn't
like
think,
an advisory.
and I'm not trying to, I think, well, and I know I can't vote, but I just think we're wasting time if we don't go forward.
Sure.
That's just my opinion.
Well, she made a motion.
Oh, okay. But I want everybody comfortable.
Yeah,
Right.
no, my only sense is that going forward, I'm good, I'm looking at the design, this is good. I'm always the squeaky wheel.
Oh, I
right?
understand that.
But just to make sure that we have the appropriate feedback coming in from the community versus silos.
Yeah.
That's just it, because we've gotten ourselves into that mess before.
Mhm.
That's all I'm saying.
I second her motion.
Sandra, did you in fact make a motion for approval?
I will make it now.
Oh, okay. I wasn't trying to talk you into it. I thought you had said so. So,
She had
okay.
said it, I heard, I heard her when she
I
was.
think James told you to, but it was.
Hey, when I hear it back, I think.
Yeah, James heard it, everybody heard it. Okay, so we have a motion, and do we have a second? Second. Let's do roll call.
Sandra Kilpatrick,
Yes.
Larry Blasingame,
Yes.
James McGee.
Yeah.
Gary Perry.
Yes.
Thank y'all very much. Rob, I'll get with you after you get back from Wyoming. He's rented a hippie van, and he and his wife and 2 daughters are leaving tonight to go hiking. But I appreciate so much you taking the time to come down, because I could not have answered the questions.
No, I appreciate, I really do appreciate it. I'll give credit where credit's needed, just the involvement of staff. It's always a privilege and an honor just to have the voice and leadership involved in that deal versus just like, here, take this and run with it. So, yeah, I really do appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I need entertain a motion to bring ordinance number 2025-4 to the table.
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
Roll call.
Sandra Kilpatrick,
Yes.
Larry Blasingame,
Yes.
James McGee.
Yeah.
Gary Perry.
Yes.
Entertain a motion to suspend the reading rule and read by number and title one time only.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Sandra Kilpatrick,
Yes.
Larry Blasingame,
Yes.
James McGee.
Yeah.
Gary Perry.
Yes.
Excuse me, thank you. Ordinance 2025-4, an ordinance for the purpose of rezoning certain property in the city of Alma, Arkansas, whereas the city of Alma has submitted a petition to rezone the property located at 814 East Cherry Street. The zoning would be from R1 to C2. Cody, would you want to speak to it, or?
Yeah, it's basically just the future location for the police department. And Jeff advised that he would like it to be commercial, which also fits with our future land use plan as well, since those adjacent properties are commercial. If anything, and the only difference really, because government buildings can be placed on any type of zoning, this actually really changes our little bit of setbacks, but then also they have facade requirements now, so it'll make it look a little prettier.
Yeah, we've discussed this we knew this was pending. So, I make a motion that we accept ordinance 2025-4.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Sandra Kilpatrick,
Yes.
Larry Blasingame.
Yes.
James McGee,
Yeah.
Gary Perry.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Entertain a motion to bring ordinance number 2025-5 to the table.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Sandra Kilpatrick,
Yes.
Larry Blasingame,
Yes.
James McGee.
Yeah.
Gary Perry.
Yes.
Entertain a motion to suspend the reading rule and read by number and title only one time.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Sandra Kilpatrick,
Yes.
Larry Blasingame,
Yes.
James McGee.
Yeah.
Gary Perry.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-5, an ordinance adopting a master street plan for the city of Alma, Arkansas, repealing conflicting ordinances, declaring an emergency and for other purposes. This is for the purpose of lowering the speed limit to 15 miles per hour on Fayetteville Avenue. I don't know the exact.
I'd say the terminus is from Main Street to East Cherry Street.
Okay. Okay, any discussion? Or any questions, I'm sorry?
It also changed based on the citizen request, your overall feeder streets, collector streets, I don't remember which.
Wait, what?
This is also where you changed from 30 to 20 on your other streets, right?
No, it was already, it said less than 20 on there. So that's what we already got the approval, I guess, to lower the speed limit on the local streets.
Everyone understanding and what we're talking about here?
So this is mainly just hitting this.
Correct. Lower the speed limit.
Lower the speed limit in the city, is that what it's all about?
Yes.
I mean, all over the
No,
city?
no, downtown.
Just downtown.
Got 3 gentlemen back there that's gonna start enforcing this in 90 days.
Now, what you were lowering it to 15?
Yes, Main Street, well, Fayetteville Avenue.
It's currently 25 and the planning.
Which is right through here.
15.
And they go about 30 down through here, it's pretty fast.
If you'll give us a 10-mile.
Oh, yeah, they do, well, council members, yeah. Any other discussion? Entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2025-5.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Sandra Kilpatrick,
Yes.
Larry Blasingame,
Yes.
James McGee.
Yeah.
Gary Perry.
Yes.
Orders approved. Your next attachment,
I think we have emergency cars there.
we don't need an emergency clause to do it.
It's up to y'all, Scott, if you want.
Well, let me, before I say, help me, Cody, the planning commission wanted a 90-day period,
Yes, they wanted,
didn't want to start letting the citizens know that we're gonna do this and everything.
yeah, they didn't.
So
want
that's,
it.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Could publicize it and possibly even put up, some signs saying the new speed limit is going to be 15 miles an hour. That's what the planning commission did recommend. So that's the only reason I didn't ask for emergency clause.
And this should also help out, once that bridge is finished, it should start to hit.
The bridge is opening tomorrow afternoon.
All right.
You just stole his thunder.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
Usually Mark gets beaten up in these meetings.
oh, I just been wanting some good news. Anyway,
I'll give you credit, good job, Mark.
yeah, well, Mark told me.
Yeah, it's after the report.
By law, we have to report our annual financial statements, 2024 annual statements, and attached, they are the general fund, the street fund, the aquatic park, A&P, and water. You've all seen these numbers and this and that, but we have to present them as, do we have to get them approved or just present them?
That just has to be mentioned in the minutes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So they are there if you have any questions, but we probably talked about them in December or January. So if there's not any questions or any discussion about them, we'll go to the department reports. Unless y'all have any questions on the financials. Chief Parsons?
I know you have something in your packet, and I got it out late, Amy, she did, hand it out to y'all for the proposal payment for two fire trucks that we're purchasing. This is a breakdown of, what the savings will be with the, prepay and all that. It's 5%. If we prepay them right now, we will have a savings of 5%. If we keep the money right now, it will not go over 5. Right now, it's below 5. It's bringing in below 5 right now. Let's go down.
Mention that.
It's more than that. It's going down, and we take ownership of those trucks. So we decided to put this together. This is the savings that we'll retain if we do it now, and it will be a 5% savings on those trucks. If we go ahead and do the prepay this month or whenever y'all decide that's what we want to do. If not, we can take a chance on, it's not gonna go over 5%, it cannot go over 5%. It can go down, but if we do the prepay, it does not go down. Y'all understand that?
I just had a word from city attorney that some,
There's been discussion between the city attorneys. I don't know that the fire truck prepay is legal.
we'll have to table it or something.
Is that? Okay.
I mean, he just said that to me, and I said, well,
We
we'll
don't
just
want to
have.
be in trouble, that's for sure.
No,
But this is, I mean, we'll look into that.
Yeah.
Into-
yeah, I agree.
Next month. But it shouldn't change anything really. I mean,
If you get them within a year, you can do it, I believe, is the standard. I think if they're gonna deliver outside
oh
of
yeah,
12 months.
they'll deliver them next year.
So that's not consistent with what I've heard you say before, so.
How much do they have to do? Can it just be the lights?
Yeah,
It's
Define,
a few years.
Yeah.
We'd like to see them in next year, but there's no,
is realistically 2027 when you get them?
yes.
I mean, I thought that was correct, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, that's, but the calls, they took, you got the call sheet, there's the construction firm we had on Mulberry Street over here. One was saying what their guy did a wonderful job, got there early, did save the dog. Captain Dax Brown, doing a search, didn't know if there's people in it or what, within 5 or 10 minutes, brought the dogs out lifeless. I handed it over to, the medics there, and about 15 minutes later, the dog was A-okay. It was, turned out good there, and got the call sheet here, how many calls we had and all that. I think that's what y'all are wanting to see every month, to help y'all out. I know Cody probably is gonna touch on some of this stuff, what we've been going through with House bills, Senate bills and all that that's going on. I wanna say it's, last week at the fire marshal school, we, talked diligently about it, what's going on. They're trying to pass a bunch of bills on zoning and fire protection, fire board, trying to abolish a lot of things. Don't know exactly where they're at on a lot of them. Some of them are getting installed and hopefully all of them do. I mean, they just bombard, the zoning and, the life safety of here in the last, I mean, they're in legislation now, that's what they're doing. So hopefully, we can get through all that, and keep all our zoning and stuff like that in the cities. Moving on from that, we have Smith Radio, March 25th, they'll be here to do our final training, 6 o'clock at Station 1. Hopefully after that, we'll have everything done, Smith Radio will be done, have all the radio stuff in place. April 5th, we have car show, fire department will be there. April 26th, Dutch Oven, if y'all ain't gonna be out around there, don't worry about him, he'll finish second this year. But, we'll be down there cooking, fire department will be down there cooking at the shed, so. With that said, we had brought to my attention what, this insurance that we've been paying, and I thought that we had made it a point, I mean, on the council report, I mean, not appointed, they've, made it where the city would pay this for us every year. And she pulled it up and it's been paid out of different accounts over the last, however long they've been paying it, so. If you wanna know what account I need to pay out. So, I thought we already passed it on ordinance, yes. Last year when Mr. Perry brought it up, and it was paid out of general fund,
It's like $500, what,
$640,
600.
600?
600 a year?
yes. And that, like she said, it's been paid out of different accounts. We didn't even know we had it. We've never used it. We've had a couple firemen hurt in the last 20 years, but we've never used it. We did not know we had it, I guess, is what I'm saying. But we need to find out where we need to pay this out of because it's not budgeted through the fire department.
It's not budgeted anywhere. So last year we paid it out of 2205, which is insurance and payable line item, but that is not a budget line item, it's a wash line item. And which means it's the elective insurance. So I credit that when the insurance premiums are held from the employee checks. And then when that invoice comes in, I pay that invoice. So it's a wash line item. It's not budgeted, period. All the years prior, it was paid from fire department funds, but it was just all over the place. And like you said, it looks like they paid it from 2004 forward, just some years they did, some years they didn't. But they apparently didn't even know that they had the insurance prior to last year. So I just requested from him and the mayor, where do we want to pay this from? Because 2205 is not a good auditable
Just,
line item.
just a thought, since it's not budgeted anywhere, I'll be glad to pay it out of my budget, with, you know, one of the miscellaneous items or whatever, and then next year we'll figure out where it should be paid from. It's a great service, as I understand it.
Yeah, it is.
It's, if a fireman got hurt, it basically,
Yeah.
if they're off, it basically pays whatever, since we're volunteers, it pays their salary from where they're working. I said that incorrectly, but Rhonda was explaining to me today, I wasn't aware of it, but it's, I think it's something we ought to do for them for sure.
So what do we need?
Okay, I thought it was already passed in the council last year.
You know, I don't know, mean,
I remember it coming up, but
I
I
do
don't
too,
remember
and I'm sure we passed, but I don't remember the details about it.
yeah, how we,
Yeah, where we pay it from, I think is the only issue, right?
The issue is we paid it from 2205, and that's a wash line item that's not budgeted, and that's the audit's gonna.
I will find a place to pay it and
Agreeable with
report back next month.
Yeah.
That's all right.
It looks like that, I mean, someone needs to take charge of it every year, because it's been a couple of years it's been paid, some people it hadn't been paid, so.
well, if we, yeah, going forward, as long as we budget for it, or if we
Yeah.
create the line item, then it'll be a wash.
Tell them about David's report.
It'll be next month. It had 19 days on it, and he had like 2 or 3 days. I mean, he's gonna put it all on next year, I mean, next
Didn't work many
next
days.
month.
Yeah.
It'll run over 3 months, so that's why that wasn't. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Any more questions for the chief?
Thank you all.
We'll have Captain Grant or Lieutenant Jeremy, or you going, oh.
So I was talking to some people the other day, exactly the youth council, and I was introducing Captain Wright, and I was gonna mention to him about all the grants that he had gotten us, and I told him Captain Grant.
I thought that was appropriate. Very appropriate.
You should have your report from me in your packet. I'm not gonna go through everything, but Officer Waldrop started in February in the Portsmouth Academy for 17 weeks. He's doing good so far, so hopefully in about 6 months we'll get to use him. The new CID unit that was ordered on this, it says we haven't gotten it yet. We actually have taken possession of it now. In the Chief Parsons mentioned the Smith 2A radio in February. We actually made the police department's final payment that was funded out of the ARPA fund. So we finally got that project cleared up. The new police department, we had a kickoff meeting in February with the architects. We spent a good part of the day. They toured our current facility, our new site, and then the rest of the time was spent talking about our needs and our wants and our future needs. And so I think it was a very productive meeting. Upcoming events, the Citizens Police Academy's ongoing. The graduation for that will be Monday night, April 7th at 6 o'clock over in the courtroom, and I would invite you guys to attend that. We set up free hearing testing for all the city employees. It's actually city employees and their spouses that's on the municipal health insurance. The hearing test is free, and then you need a hearing device that's at a very discounted price with the agreement through municipal health. They'll be here on March 31st, and that information's been sent out to the city employees. I sent you guys some information on the Axon Roadshow. That's a pretty good event to be coming to Alma, and with you guys being on the council, you guys are invited to attend that. And the only thing that they requested on that information that I sent you is to be sure and register for that. And they will be serving lunch here that day. And as Chief Parsons mentioned, the Dutch oven lid lifting competition down at the shed on April 26th. I will be cooking again this year, defending my first place from last year. So I hope that y'all will come down. So, and I know everyone is in a hurry to get out tonight to watch the basketball game. But I got a couple things I would like to pass out to you guys, and
Thank you.
So this is some information that over the last couple of weeks, I've had some discussions with the mayor. I actually came up with a questionnaire and sent out to a lot of departments around here. If y'all watch the news very often, you'll see the news. You know, a lot of the big cities are always getting raises. One of them was on the news the other night, and you know, our employees see that, and this is something that we've been discussing for, I know, at least over 2 years, and nothing has been done. And everyone indicates that we want to have a study session and we want to talk about this, but here we are over 2 years later, and we still haven't had that study session. So I would like to give you this information and point out a couple things and ask that we get something on the calendar set up for this so we can talk about it. The history of the Alma Police Department is years ago, we used to be the top paid agency in this area. We've hired officers from Fayetteville, we've hired officers from Fort Smith. You know, one of the things is because the pay was good, the benefits was good, and that we always had top-notch equipment. I think we've done a good job, thanks to you guys, of keeping good equipment, which is important. But I think one area we failed is paying for our officers and some of the benefits. You know, as you look through some of the other departments, and some of them I didn't list all the benefits they get because there's a lot of them. You know, most of the departments are not only starting out more than we are, but they get certificate pay, education pay, incentive pay, longevity pay. There's several things that they get that none of that is offered here. So, you know, some of our guys are seeing these advertisements. The last 2 pages of that is some of the advertisements that we see that go out. So some of our guys are seeing this and know that this discussion has been brought up for a couple of years and nothing has been done. No discussions have been had. And some of them are starting to look into these other places. So I would really encourage you guys to take this serious and let's sit down and talk about it and see what we can do in the future. Because, you know, I think we're shooting ourselves in the foot by not doing some of these things because of the expense it costs to hire someone, if we can find someone to hire. Send them to the academy, which we never used to have to do because we could always steal someone from another department. And there's a lot of expense goes into that. You know, when a new officer starts, not only all the tests and certifications we have to get up front before we send them to the academy, we have to buy them a new vest. It's $1,200 right there. You know, new uniforms, easily $1,000. So all those things start adding up. And if we have officers, seasoned officers that have a lot of experience start leaving, then that's going to leave us in a bad spot because, like I told you guys, during this last hiring we had, it was difficult to find someone that would take a pay cut from their current job and someone that would pass the background. So I would I really encourage you guys to look at this and us decide something on setting up a meeting.
You have my word, we'll discuss it sometime in April.
And also talking to a couple of these departments, and I'll tell you, most of these departments around here that I've listed on here are departments that we've hired people from in the past that are now trying to steal our people. A couple weeks ago, some of our guys were out of town in a class and they were approached by a chief of another department trying to steal them. So I think it's a matter of time before we have good officers here that start leaving because of this. I did reach out to 4 departments. If you look at the state census, the 2 right under us and the 2 right above us in population, and asked them to complete this. MENA is listed on here. They're the only ones that responded to me. I don't think we really compare to MENA because they don't have Interstate 40, Interstate 49 sitting here in their town. So even at their pay, they're above us. So I'm not gonna spend much more time on this tonight, but in the near future, I would like to have a discussion on that. There's also talking to some of these departments. They use the company that actually has an office out of Northwest Arkansas. That's all they do for municipalities, counties, school districts. They come in and do a pay study. I don't have any idea how much that costs. Me personally, I don't think that's necessary because we're spending money to figure out how much we need to spend. So, but anyway, if that's something that you guys want me to look into, I'll be more than happy to do that. And if any of you guys have any questions about anything that's listed on this, I've put our current pay scale in here also. So if any of you have any questions about it in the next few days, then let me know. I'll be happy to answer anything I can. And anyway, I'll end that part of it. The other thing on the included in the report, something that I thought was very important was including employee anniversaries. And so I've included some of those in the department report. And if you'll notice, there's one of those that's rather a large number. And so I asked the mayor if I could do this, and he told me I could. So Amy, would you come around here? So, like I told the mayor, I was not gonna do this for everyone, but once they hit that 20-year mark, I think it's important to acknowledge them. So, I have a certificate for Amy. It's a certificate of appreciation for 20 years of service in recognition of your dedicated service to the Alma Police Department. So, there you go.
Where's Jared?
Well,
Josh Slicker. Thank you very much.
all right. If you guys don't have any questions, that's all
I
I've got.
suggested he give you a day off of pay, but he said he'd give you
I might
flat.
need gold watch.
That's all I've got. Unless somebody-
I do commit to you that, and we need to do this. I don't know what the results will be, but we've got to do some serious discussions and put some time up in April to do this. And I'll get this to Damon and Evan to make sure they have a copy.
Sounds good.
Any other questions for Chief? Thanks, sir. Mark Yardley.
Sorry for casual this evening, but this is what I had on, so I didn't want to change. Well, just to highlight a couple of things, we had a pre-bid meeting Tuesday of this week with the contractors that were interested in bidding on the manganese filter project at the treatment plant. There were 3 contractors that actually attended. There are more than that are plan holders, but 3 contractors actually attended. And I guess the good news is there weren't a lot of questions in the pre-bid meeting. We walked around the plan and looked at the site and talked a little bit about some possible interferences with the project and some challenges that they might face. And anyway, it went pretty well. They didn't have a lot of questions, so I think that's good news. I mean, we're expecting to take bids about the second week in April, and so hopefully we'll have some information on that. And as y'all remember, this is that forgivable loan money, so it's not money we're spending of our own. But we're sure hoping that they come in at least within the budget so that we can get the project done without having to go back and rebid. If for some reason the bids come in higher than the 6.2 million, which I can't imagine, but if they do, then we will have an opportunity to throw those bids out and actually scale the project down somewhat and then go out and rebid again if we need to. But anyway, we're hoping that they'll all come in below that and we'll be able to move forward. Let's see, the ozone project, we've said that, we had to get some more money to finish that project. The actual ozone generation units are still over $1 million. And so we're looking at reusing the existing destruct units. So basically any ozone that is not consumed in the water has to be destructed before we can release it into the atmosphere. So the existing destruct units are, they're old as well, but when you think about what they are, they're mostly a bunch of stainless steel vessels and piping, and I mean, these things will last for hundreds of years, the actual units. There's some electronic components in those that would have to be brought up to the current standards, but we're looking at saving about $150,000 just if we reuse the existing destruct units. So, but we're still struggling with getting the costs down to where we can afford to put this in, but we're still working on it. I just want y'all to know that project is ongoing. It's just not, we're not making great progress on it. Y'all mentioned earlier about the speed limits and the neighborhood streets, basically the streets that are down in the subdivisions. The street department's been working hard on changing out those 30-mile-an-hour speed limit signs and putting in 20-mile-an-hour speed limit signs. And they've got all of the signs changed that they're going to change. There was, in the process of looking at this, we realized there were quite a few locations that should have speed limit signs that do not. So in the process, we're adding some signs, mostly at entrances to neighborhoods. But down within neighborhoods, we're actually removing a few signs. We're basically, we just want to inform people when they turn into the neighborhood, this is the speed limit. We don't feel like every corner in the neighborhood needs to have a speed limit sign. And so we're kind of adjusting where some of those signs are located to try to make some sense. And then, but anyway, we'll probably have all that done by the end of the month. We have a meeting tomorrow with the engineers to go over the 60% drawings for the South Side Sidewalk project. They've really struggled with the design on this, just trying to find locations where there aren't terrible obstructions to the project. There's neither side of the street down here is working because you got ditches all along this area on most of the area down here, and there's utilities in the way on both sides of the street. So we're really struggling with places to place the sidewalks, but they work diligently on this, and they're supposed to meet with us tomorrow to present their plan. And if we approve of that, then they'll submit those plans to the highway department for approval, so that we can get the grant funds that we need to do this project. So I'll keep you posted on that. Let's see, the contract was let on the Column West Overlay Project, the Street Aid project, which is grant funds again, and that contract will have about 8 months. The contract period will be through November the 26th. We had a pre-construction meeting here in the council room last week, and part of that was that earlier this week or last week? It was last week. Yeah, also. Anyway, the contractor, the Emery Sapp and Son, is a local contractor. They're going to do Column West subdivision, but at the same time, they're going to do the overlay project on 71 highway between Interstate 40 and Highway 282 to the north. So they're gonna mill and overlay 71 highway, but they're also gonna mill and overlay Coloma subdivision while their equipment is here, so that'll be a joint project. And, since they're both highway projects, it's not gonna have much impact on us. So I'll keep you posted on that. And last but not least, as the mayor pointed out earlier, the contractor contacted me yesterday and said that Mobley contractors said that they were at a point where they felt like they could open the bridge back for traffic. There's still some auxiliary things they're gonna be working on, like the slopes. They're gonna do some more grading on slopes and a little cleanup work and some sod work and that type of thing. So, but they should be able to open it for traffic tomorrow afternoon. So this weekend, we can be able to drive on it. So that was good news. And that was, as we said, that's way ahead of schedule. They worked through the whole winter, and they actually had the whole winter as free days on their contract. So they probably have 200 days left on the contract. They're not gonna need it.
That's unusual.
So we were very pleased with that. And if you looked over there at that, it's amazing what that looks like now. It looks nothing like the old bridge. It's very contemporary.
When do they turn that over to the city? How long a period of time?
I don't know, I mean,
Okay.
they'll do a minute order, the highway commission will do a minute order where they sign it over to the city, but I don't know when that.
Okay, I'm just curious. I didn't know.
It probably won't be very long, because that's the whole point, to divest the
Yeah.
highway miles, so
Okay.
it shouldn't take too long.
Any
That's all I
questions
have,
of Mr. Yardley? Any questions, Mr. Yardley? Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, sir.
If you've probably talked to me recently, you probably noticed I'm stressed. But I'll still stick to my report. 13 permits issued during the month of February. Total revenue was 2,800 or over 2,800. That was 2 new residential permits and then 1 residential remodel permit. 1 commercial addition permit, and it's our second highest permit revenue month for February. We did meet with First Baptist Church on their expansion that they'll be doing here in the next few months, I'd imagine. So we're looking forward to their project and working with them. So Metters Lumber will be switching to Metters Lumber Ace Hardware, and just a little small remodel on that. I did have the chance to speak with Leadership Crawford County on Economic Development Day, and definitely welcome Leadership Crawford County, and then of course the Van Buren Chamber for allowing me to do that and speak about all the good things that are going on right now. So. And then on top of that, according to Talk Business, we're ahead of Van Buren and Greatwood and construction value. So we're doing pretty well. Now the concerning stuff that I've been worried about. Municipal League sent out some notices on a couple bills. HB 1754, that's basically eliminating land use control. That's planning, zoning, everything that I'm basically without a job. And that's every community in Arkansas and probably consultants as well. Very terrifying. I did put that it failed to make it out of committee. I think it's actually still in committee, but I don't know exactly. I was informed about that portion, but I kind of checked and state websites are different.
Does the HB bill have the same 3 in it that the Senate bill had, the timeline and the max fees? Did it have that in there? I think that was just an assumption.
But SB 456, that's basically eliminating single-family zoning. That they basically, anybody would have by right to build duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes in single-family zoning. And so the way I see it, I'm probably thinking of the worst, is there's no incentive now to build single-family housing, because I can just go out, build a fourplex, fit 4 families in there, and make more money. So, I don't think that's making housing affordable, really, in my opinion. Also allowing RVs to live in, on properties. So people can just put 4 RVs on a property and rent them out as Airbnbs, I guess they want. So, this is pretty concerning. It did make it out of the committee, and luckily it's being sent back, or really just being tabled, so, I guess some of the senators, have been getting pushback from the communities. I know they're trying to tailor it as the Home Act, that housing opportunities made easier. I think it's more easier for developers to do stuff, but, for cities, it's not good. So hopefully they'll make some amendments or just totally get some pushback. It looks like they're also working with a nonprofit agency, a lobbying group that's pushing this through a lot of states. And checking with the APA, which is the American Planning Association. The reason for the housing shortage, I mean, you could blame a million things, however, always the top concern, over 50% of the hurdles are construction obstacles and financing challenges, not local municipalities. Local municipalities do have some sort of regulations that do make it difficult to build housing. However, ours, as you see, we're pretty good at constructing houses or allowing houses. So, also the National Association of Home Builders, they recently put out a report talking about the housing startups, and February as the costs go up. They, as quoted from the chairman, while solid demand and lack of existing inventory provided a boost to single-family production in February, our latest builder survey shows that builders remain concerned about challenging housing affordability conditions, most notably elevated financing, construction costs, as well as tariffs on key building materials. That's straight from them. So, I don't think our community is that tough on contractors. So I really encourage kind of our representatives and senators to communicate with our cities, because not everybody has strict regulations such as pay for road. On a positive note, somewhat, Brett got certified to be able to euthanize dogs whenever permissible. So that could potentially give us some cost savings. However, that's kind of hard to do as well. But at least he's certified, and that also protects us in court as well. And he's going to be taking another class, I believe, in May that will also protect us as well as a community. Any questions?
Any questions of Cody? Thank you, sir. And I don't think your job's going away. Ms. Rhonda?
I had it up here, I sent a message out to the department heads, the report number is still not reflected in the 2025 budget, and that's because 2024 is still open. Audit requested me to leave that open until she pinned down a couple of corrections that need to happen from the 2022 closing. And we can do a prior year adjustment to get those back in 2023, and then get a better fix in 2024 before we close that out. So Jess and I leave her open. I did inform her that for Encode to work properly, we have to close 2024 by March 21st. So it's just the way that accounting works on it, and talked at length with Encode on that, and she said, we'll do exactly, she said, there's two things for sure I want to do, I know, and then we'll close it and we'll move forward from there. So anyway, we're just very thankful that she's working with us on that, and I had pointed some things out to her, 2 accounts, one was street, one was aquatic, that did not balance at the end of 2022, and it just had to do with journal entries, and so very fixable. It just will affect the next year, and that's exactly what it does. So just had enough to let y'all know of that. All outstanding 2024 items have been posted though, and just from what she's looking at on that, she said everything was good there. It just goes back to the 22 to 23 that we're dealing with. City Hall server was received and installed. We did have one where we got this Marquez computer and accounts payable. It just fried the hard drive. So we had to get a new one. It was under warranty, so thankful for that. But it updated to Windows 11. Nothing's compatible with Windows 11. That's no more than 2 or 3 years old. So we had to update her printer and all that kind of stuff. So I think we'll be able to stay in budget, but Daniel did inform me that in October, Windows 10 is not going to be serviceable anymore, so we'll have to update all of my stuff as well. So we'll see where we get with that. As you can see from the equipment behind you, audit is here and underway. So far, they're just staying here and kind of, she's asked for several things, but they're just digging into it and going. It's, you know, we haven't had a lot of feedback yet, other than her asking me to keep 24 open until 2025 February tax is down a little bit, and you can see that on there, about 18,000 less than February was last year. There's also, we're all watching bills in the Senate and House right now,
That's
but
pretty good, too.
yeah, SB 394, municipal league also put out, and make sure your council people and things like that reach out to your representatives. This would allow the quorum court to hold county tax back dollars rather than disperse them out to the cities like they do now. Do y'all know most of the cities are what generate those tax dollars? Because, you know, it's where all your little towns are, your little businesses are. And so it just makes sense that, and it always has, that the cities would get some of that back. But they did amend that bill to only include 25 counties, but if that passes, it's going to come for the rest of them later. I mean, it's just the way it works, right? So just encourage you to go read that SB 394, reach out to your representative, let them know, hey, last year we got $257,600 just on that county turn back that we get once a quarter. That's how, now it was a little elevated in the fourth quarter because they had the same sunset bond issue that we had. So we did have a little more in that fourth quarter, but on general, over the last 7 years, we've got 200,000 or so for each county turn back. So if we lost that, it would certainly be noticeable. Miss Marte, their house sold, which, you know, I know it's always a good thing when you can get something to happen quickly and not just be sitting in limbo with it. But unfortunately, it means she gave us a day of leaving. So April the 4th will be her last day. We did post the director of finance job today on both the Facebook and website. I think I showed y'all last month that I requested that we post my job rather than the accounts payable, because my plans to leave at the end of the year. I certainly will be available through the first quarter of 26 if that's needed, if we don't get someone in and get a training time. But with her still happening quickly, preferably we'll get someone in and get them trained, and then they would be able to train a new accounts payable at the first of the year. So we don't want to visit accountants or people that
Y'all know,
like to serve the city and get a little bit of pay for it.
yeah, friends and family, bring them down.
Send them our way, yeah, for sure. The financial report, I think we had brought that to you like in July last year. We posted it in March, but then it brought to my attention, hey, that's supposed to go through. Council's supposed to have that presented and it should be in the minutes. So I think Rochelle maybe the one that told us.
Yeah,
that,
I think you're right.
So just wanted to make sure y'all had that. We did post it, posted at the water department here in the post office. And no one's called on it. Don't know anyone ever has it. It was the last year was there either. So, any other questions on anything?
Any questions for Ms. Rhonda? Thank you very much. Just a couple of things on park. Aquatic park, we had to spend about in the process of spending about $5,800 to do some maintenance on some pumps and some lines that we've been patching up for the last 2 or 3 years, and we had a little money, so we went ahead and got that done. Some valves and piping. I've had over 60 applicants to work there this summer. They've had 3 meetings and got 26 applicants for lifeguards, and several of them already trained, and 5 of them are from Parrot Island. Said they'd never worked over here, which is kind of interesting. Castillo Park, we have the bid, I think I reported last month, bids totaling approximately $48,000. We are looking at a situation now, it's not ideal where the restroom is constructed, but that was the least expensive at that point. We are looking at how much it would cost to move it east a little bit to have a little bit better line of sight. The gentleman named Wade that was supposed to come back last Monday or Monday before last, Brett called him again today. He's working on a project up in Fayetteville, and unless you've heard something, I don't know when he'll be here, but Brett was surprised that he didn't show, but he said he was on a big job up in northwest Arkansas, and that's all I know. And Brett's going to call him again and say, we really need to get this moving, because we really need to get moving on this. And that's really obviously all about parks, but we need to get I want to get that restroom built and get that part done so we can get on with the fun part. And under mayor notes, not much to say. Had a great day last Monday. Had the youth council, 5 of them over here for most of the day. They're so blame busy. They had to cut it an hour and a half short, and one girl had to leave 2 hours short. But we started off, we fed them breakfast in here, and Caitlin came and talked about, I'm not sure what she talked about. I don't even understand either. She is so bright. She was talking about how many grub worms are on an oak tree, and they were just, they were interested in it. She did a tremendous job. And then we had the opportunity to take them to court. Got to sit on the front row up there and watch how the court system works and speeding tickets and all that. And they were very, very interested in that. And then we went over and talked to Captain Grant and Chief Pointer, and they explained about the police department, the number of employees and what they do, and the new K9 unit and all those type things. And then the fun began because they turned the Milo machine on, and there were holes in the walls and the ceilings. And this one little young lady, they had a scenario where there was a hostage. A man had a gun. Well, no, you don't think he saw him, but he was holding a baby and his wife, and he was holding her hostage. And he turned to fire, and he dropped the baby. And this little girl said, I can't shoot. She was worried about the baby. And Chief Pointer said, well, he just shot you right between the eyes. But it was interesting. And then they took him out to a police car and did a lot of that. Brought back in for lunch, and during lunch had Councilman Perry come in and talk to him about being involved in not politics, but civic responsibilities and duties, and also spoke to him about what it meant to be a council person, encouraged him to go into, well, no, Mark Yarvik did that, I'll tell that in just a second. And after that, we went up to the water department, and these are the brightest of the bright. They're really neat kids, young people. And they said, well, I just didn't know we had a water department. I thought that was where that power was down there. And it's just really interesting how little the citizens, adults as well, know about, what goes on at the city. But they had a great time over there. And I always like to hear Mark talk about there's no new water, and it's really interesting, and did a great job. And we came back here and had a little debrief for a little bit, and they were really, really excited to have had the opportunity to visit. We had to cut it short. We were going to do the fire department, but they had to go for play practice, cheer practice, every kind of practice, and busy young people. But it was really an insightful opportunity. It is so crazy. I'm trying to get them to a council meeting, but they've got so much going on. It's just really, really hard to do, but we'll continue to work on that. And that's really all I got. I was going to mention about the bridge, and I was going to mention about Keith Green. His funeral will be Monday morning at 9:30 at First Baptist Church. And it was a good man. He did a lot for a lot of people. Good man. I don't have anything, but I'll be glad to answer any kind of questions. 2 or 3 things I think I will not need to. I will look into help form some type of formal, parks, recreation committee, parks committee, whatever. We will meet and discuss, pay scales and this and that sometime in April. James, I will never have another meeting when the Hogs are playing basketball.
Good.
They won, I won once.
I was hoping you wouldn't tell me I got taping.
That day, no.
Hey, he don't wanna know, he's taping it.
I stay as long as we need to, don't wanna keep anybody any longer than we have to, so, I sincerely appreciate your comment, appreciate your input. Please, I'm gonna get one of these to Damon, one to Evan, please look these over so we can do some intelligent discussion at some point in time next month.
Can we also get a soft copy of those? An email, a soft copy of that.
Yes, sir, we'll get you that. Yeah. Anything else?
I move we adjourn, and there's somebody telling me what the scoreboard game is.
I tell you that.
We have a motion, we have a second, Sam? Second?
Yes.
We are dismissed. Thank y'all very, very much.
Yeah, yeah.
Close. I'm glad they won. I really am.
So you just need to go home and watch it.
How many was, who won it?
Just